All right, you grasshoppers. This is quickly becoming the most popular show on the internet worldwide. Uh, Dr. Dr. Jenny. Jenny, how are you doing? Jenny
I'm
Nwosisi.
doing, yes. Hi, Tom. Good morning. I'm doing excellently, barring any technical difficulties, but I'm great to be here again
See,
with
that's
you
just
this
that's you
week.
are showing off how smart you were because you pretended there's technical difficulties and then you fixed it. So that's what I do. I pretend there's problems and then I fix them. So good. All right, so we've had this is the second show we've had with Jenny. She's got a big endeavor. She's done a lot of things that we'll talk about. But right now, she has a company called Talk with Jenny. So people are looking to make a transition from one career to another, or whether they should make a transition or not. You can get Jenny's help. And very intelligent, very motivated person. The thing that I'm very proud of her about to have her on the show is that she downplays this again. She's actually serves enlisted in the military. She's an Army Reserve, Navy Reserve.
Air Force Reserve,
Air
honest.
Force Reserve. I would have got it sooner later. I would have got it sooner later. Yeah. Good. Good. How
You're
are things
good.
going? Good. Everything good?
Yeah. What was that?
Everything good from your side? Everything good?
Yeah, everything is good. It's been a great week. We're just in the second day of the week. So much lies ahead. It's been a productive week so far, and I know it's gonna be packed. You know, when you have a shorter week, because it's just we have like Memorial Day. Actually, yeah, Memorial Day weekend coming up. So I'm
Yep.
looking forward to that. And yeah, I just know that the days leading up to it is gonna be really hectic. So
Good.
I'm prepared.
Good. You're a hockey fan, Ranger fan? I forgot to ask you. You watching hockey?
Is this a test?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We'll see if you pass or not.
I know I have some yards to catch up to others who are more passionate about the sports than I am. I have other interests such as tennis and
Yeah.
badminton
Yeah.
and
Well, we need to work.
volleyball.
We need to work
And
on
I
that.
know I know the Rangers won their game against the Hurricanes on Sunday, and they played today or Saturday over the weekend, and they played today. So
Right.
fingers crossed they bring it home.
Yeah, they had a big game on Sunday that they won. I was down at that game, and then actually they've got a game tonight too. So game four, they're down 2-1 in the series. So I know your sister's a big hockey fan too, right, Nellie? She likes watching hockey.
Yes,
So
yes.
definitely,
So she would be a better guest for this kind of question.
we'll have to get you guys down to a game. That's what we'll do. You'll fall in love with it. When you go to the garden,
Absolutely, that
yeah,
would
you
be
go to
the
the
truth.
garden. It's a whole different experience when you're at the garden watching the game. So just so
Yeah.
everybody gives me a hard time, Jenny, because I wear a black T-shirt all the time on the show. So now they have to point out today that I got all dressed up for you, just for you.
Brilliant. Yes, that's awesome.
All right. So again, Jenny's career right now, we've done a lot of things, but right now she's focusing on this talk with Jenny. So if people want to get a hold of Jenny to discuss, first of all, should they make a change? Are you unhappy in your job? Why are you unhappy? Would you say it's a preference? I guess it's kind of a tough question, but would you say it's kind of a preference to say work it out in the current job that you're in? I guess everybody's different, right?
What was that? Should I
Would
say
you
the preference?
would you say the preference would be to try to work it out in the current job that you're in, or is it like such an individual thing? It's really hard to say that.
It really comes down to like a case by case basis, because sometimes you would what I would say, like the general rule of thumb is like just don't jump ship without doing like some you know reflection or just some strategic thinking about why you're doing what you're about to do and what your next step is. So after such reflection, that might come down to, oh, you know what, I noticed that I actually do not, my job isn't that bad. I just need to think about things differently, reframe my mind, reframe, if it means showing up to work a little bit earlier and not getting, the bad stares from your manager, because that sometimes the experiences that we get might be triggered by something that we've done. So I don't think that the automatic fix all the time in all cases is to think about getting a new career. So yeah.
So if somebody hires you, engages you to help them with their career or career change, they shouldn't just assume then you're going to say, okay, yes, you need to change. Here, I'm going to help you do it. You may say to them, listen, you need to work harder, or you need to get to work. You need to sit down and have a conversation with your boss.
Again, it's I guess my approach with my career coaching service is more getting to know the individual and getting to know their strengths, their weaknesses, the things that excite them, things that they are aspiring to, like their career aspirations. So I don't always, it's not always like an advisory session where I'm like scolding them to say, well, you have to do better. It really
Sure.
depends. It really depends. So there isn't like one size fit all for my sessions.
Okay.
You
So
know,
here's a
everyone
question.
is unique.
Yeah, here's a question that's directly related to an athlete, but I want you. Well, I'm going to give you my opinion, and I want you to give your opinion
Yeah.
more on the business side. So the question is, hey Tom, did you see guys in hockey that struggle with the idea of retirement? Lots of them. So one of the things, somebody that's very driven, and again, Jenny will talk to this more on the business side, but in the sports world, obviously these are very driven Type A personalities. Put everything into your career, kind of
Hmm.
got people, and then when that's taken away from you, there's a lot of like you miss the team aspect, being around the team, the players, the travel, the whole lifestyle, the excitement of playing the game. Obviously, the money changes, especially now. People are making so much money playing professional sports. Hopefully, they've retired. They put away the money and retired. So yes, there's a lot of people who struggle with it. The big thing for me was where I was really lucky was I got right into a business. I guess I was lucky because we didn't make enough money back then to just sit around and do nothing. I had to get started on a career at a young family. So I just jumped right into the agent business and got going. And that was, I think, looking back at it, a real savior for me because it was just right after it, right, like 2 weeks after I'd retired, I got in the agent business, started traveling around, recruiting clients, and started that. So yes, a lot of guys struggle. A lot of guys struggle with it for years. In the career, they still kind of live in the past. That they're still hockey players or athletes when it's time to go on. I always wanted to, or I learned to say this. I'm very proud of my career that I played in the National Hockey League. I worked hard, discipline, all that kind of stuff. But I'm more than that. I'm not just a hockey player. I wanted to be a professional or an entrepreneur after that. So I'll let you touch on it from a business end because that's going to be important, right? People work hard, they're their careers, they get to a certain point. Obviously, it's a later age in life, but now they got to retire, and how do people handle that?
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Let me preface my response by saying I like this dynamic, like this particular session where you get to share your own point of view, which there's so much knowledge and wisdom that you have, Tom. So I'm glad that we have people in the audience who can put you on the spot and let us hear from your fountain of wisdom and your perspective because it's really important. On the other, like on the business side, and I'm also going to touch on something that came to mind when you based on your response. So I think one reason that people might find it hard to or like struggle with the idea of retirement is again, you've poured in so many years of your life to this career and it is significant. But then I also think it's important that we don't always tie our entire identity around what we do.
Right.
So like build a sense of being or identity in other things, in other, like find meaning in life
Sure.
outside of your work. Because yes, work is a significant part of our life, but then as we all know, like there's time for everything, and seasons come, seasons go, and there'll be a time when you have to retire, or who knows, what if you're fired? We don't pray for that, but
Yeah.
sometimes like you might just need to, there might be a need to change paths. So just being open to that, and also someone like Tom, what you did was brilliant. Like you started looking outside of the realm of professional sports and thinking of other ways you can, other streams, having other streams of income. Because outside of the identity, it's also good to have ways to be able to support yourself, support your family, support your community. So it's great to have portfolio career, like what I would refer to as a portfolio career, such that when one is no longer bringing in that steady source of income or at that same level, you can still fall back on other areas or just other little things that can keep you busy, keep your mind busy, keep your body busy. And then one other thing I would also say is I think that an important, like a key aspect that people enjoy about the work that they do is no longer, it's not just the routine, but sometimes the community that you spend time with. So the people
Yeah.
that your co-workers, your colleagues. So it's great to have that, establish a good working relationship with the people that you're around, such that regardless of whether you're actively working or you're retired, you can still maintain that relationship. I know, Tom, you do like a weekly show with your former hockey players on
Yeah.
Thursdays, right? So yeah, that kind of thing. If you didn't have that, like having that kind of helps you relieve those days. You're in good spirits.
Yeah.
The idea of retiring is something that you all share together. So just having that sense of fostering community, and again, just being smart from the onset about other ways of earning income.
That's very true. It's funny because, like in our example for hockey players, we would all in the past go dress the same, talk the same, they just think the same about everything. And to break away from that, like for me, I joke around. Like a couple weeks ago, I was dancing at Madison Square Garden with this
Yeah.
Mary in front of 18,000 people. Most guys would not have done that, right? So a friend of mine said to me the other day that I was unapologetically fearless and ready. Like me,
There
okay,
you go.
yeah. And it's really the truth. I have to go down the garden today. They have me going down this afternoon, and I'm firing up all the workers.
Now,
That's
so
fun.
do you have you brought? Are you going to bring out your dancing shoes?
Yes, the dancing shoes are out. And the thing is, the best thing about it is that I am a terrible dancer too. I've seen you dancing on your Instagram stuff. I'm terrible, and the fact that I
Yeah.
got up there, I would not have done that in the past. And it's interesting you say, like, kind of breaking away from just who you are with your career. You're much more than that as a person. Nothing wrong with being, like, if you're a doctor or lawyer or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with being that doctor or lawyer, but there's much more to you. Like, get involved in a charity, help other people, do other things. I think that's a fantastic idea. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, there's some questions coming up here. Now, some of this stuff, we have some of our followers that like to give me a hard time because occasionally I give them a hard time too.
Let's hear it.
Play. Oh, so this is so we're getting away from the topic here a little bit, but this Bill Falls and Slot. Bill's a former firefighter, I believe, so he's a really good guy, but he does like to pick on me, and I like to pick on him a little bit too. Will I be handing out playoff tickets today? That's a good question. I might be not. I'm inside the garden. It's all workers that work at the garden. We're getting them all fired up. So I don't know if it's going to be tickets or not. But we did that a couple of weeks ago. We're out across the street from Madison Square Garden, and one fan came by, and they had a pair of extra tickets there, and I surprised him with the 2 extra tickets. He's pretty excited. I got a big hug and everything, so it was good.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So just to be sure, if anybody wants to get a hold of you to discuss a possible career change, they can do that on Instagram. They can find you, Talk with Jenny.
Yeah, right there where it says my name, Talk with Jenny. That would be like my handle, my Instagram handle. So you can find me there. Yeah,
that's the best place for them to get you.
Absolutely, I'm the most active on there.
Okay, good. And again, you can see Jenny. She's pretty colorful. You think I go on the social media pretty good too, right? Like you enjoy doing that stuff. You see the importance of it.
Yes, I do. I think it brings a sense of community. I already used social media as just a regular, you know, downtime, like, social network, like my downtime, just catch up with friends, post pictures, travel, post pictures. But then I also realized that there are people who are posting pictures to evade the dissatisfaction and just how unfulfilling they feel in their lives, especially in their careers. So having that, meeting them where they are, and providing that sort of resource to where they can reach out to you and say, "Hey, I've been through this similar thing. I can walk you through like the steps that you need to go from one unfulfilling career path to one that's more aligned with your values." So yeah, I've kind of transformed the way I use my social media.
And that's a good lesson for other people too. But obviously, if somebody's got a job in a company, maybe not social media, but if somebody's got their own company or they need to promote it, social media is a very important tool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and you're on there too. So I see you on there with your 3:53 a.m. post every day.
There you go. Yeah, same thing. My youngest son got me into that probably like 5 years ago. Like he was talking about branding and marketing and all this kinds of stuff. And I didn't know what I was doing, especially on Facebook and Instagram. So I was posting the same thing every day. I would get up, I'd take a video of my clock in my kitchen and myself pouring a cup of coffee. And I did that for months. And I thought that's what you're supposed to do. This is and people were starting to say to me, "Hey, Tom, you can do other things. You don't have to do the same thing all the time." But the one good thing came from it was that part of my life, the true good life, is showing up every day and getting the job done. And that was certainly what was happening. So, now, do you get on?
I think people like routine too. So it's like when you don't post the one day, that like, wait, where is the coffee pouring video? We haven't seen you pouring coffee. Did you skip coffee day?
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Yeah. Do you get on TikTok? Do you use TikTok?
I use it lightly. I'm not actually really active on there. I have an account,
right?
Like I mentioned earlier, but I don't really have a lot of like activity on there. Should
Right.
I move to TikTok?
Well,
No.
everybody, no, don't. I'm not the expert. Everybody keeps telling me that's the big way to promote businesses now. Like a lot of artists, like singers and everything, get on and promote their new songs on TikTok. So, um,
Yeah, definitely. That's like an on like a vault that I need to unlock later. But yeah, for sure, it's a
good.
huge tool.
Good. All right. So somebody has come to you now. They've hired you. They said, "Okay, Jenny, I don't. I'm confused. I'm not happy in my job. I don't feel like I'm going anywhere." So the first step. So then your first step is to really sit down and get to know that person, and really understand. Okay, is this person being honest with themselves? Is that part of the process?
Um, yes, for the most part. So what I do is I would like you said, it's a case by case basis. What I would do is get a sense of where they've come from, where they've been, what career path they pursued, what was their major if they're college graduates, why they studied what they studied, because sometimes the answer is like in there. They might have been pursuing a certain career path or a certain major because of reasons other than what they would have chosen for themselves. So sometimes you kind of have to unravel the issue to see, okay, so before we talk about your next step, let's see like kind of where you've been, and then see how we can really hone your interest to where you can speak about it, speak to it as a strength, and make yourself marketable to employers going forward, especially if you're trying to deviate from the career track that you've already spent a lot of time in. So yeah, there is a little bit of there is some bit of a good bit of reflection that's involved in the process.
Now, you and I think are both pretty fortunate in that we're willing to try new things pretty easily. Like you were going to school, then you switched to schools, and you got your master's and everything too, correct? And you've enrolled in the Air Force. Like you've done some different things at a fairly young age. You haven't just stuck with one thing. You bounced around a little bit. I'm very fortunate myself, kind of forced to in some ways. I retired from playing, got in the agent business, started True Good Life, had a company called Post Game Strategies, and all the things I've done. And it just seems like that's just a natural thing for me. But that's just not the case with everybody. Sometimes people have a hard time making that change, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to others, but I can speak to myself because I know that I love trying, like you said, I love trying new things. I'm excited about fulfilling my potential, my own personal potential, and I would wish that everybody were the same, and that's the way that's kind of my contribution to society. Like if people are interested in like fulfilling their greatest potential regardless of what they've studied, because again we get tied up in, oh, I studied XYZ and so I only have to do XYZ for the
Yeah.
rest of my life. But no, it's not a your career path is not a it's not a sentence, or it's not a life sentence.
Yeah.
That's morbid. That would be bad. Sometimes it can't feel like a death sentence. But I it's just the idea of fulfilling my potential, because there's so much left to be discovered.
Right. Yeah. Part of going to school to me is obviously you're learning that craft or whatever it is that you want to pursue, but it's also learning to learn too, right? Just because you learn this, like to be a doctor, I'm using an extreme here, it doesn't mean you have to be stuck with that. You've shown that you can learn something else, right?
Yeah, and it will surprise you that that's actually not a very extreme example. Now, I will say that you would hope that everyone who is obviously everyone who is a physician has been trained to become a physician. However, there are physicians who understand that they have multiple interests, and that's why schools, some universities also offer courses to meet them where they are. For example, they offer joint degrees in like MD, MBA, because they know that people have entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurial interests. So you're not weird for thinking that, oh, if you have a pharmacy degree, like I've already spent 8 years trying to become a pharmacist. Why do I have to? Why? How weird would it be if I started my own little company or anything like other interests? Universities know this, and that's why part of the reason why joint degrees are offered is because you understand that human beings are multi-dimensional. There's also like JD MBA. You can become a lawyer and also become get your business degree. There's the MD, PhD. So again, you're not weird for thinking that you for having multiple interests and wanting to pursue them.
Yeah, definitely. So you're getting a nice compliment here, and I think this is very important too. Dr. Ngosi's resume sounds admirable and impressive, and continually reaching for more. Very nice. And I think that's
Thanks,
really,
Jenny.
not only is that a nice compliment, but I think that's very important that you're like that, because you're not just talking about it with people. You've actually done it, and again at a very young age, and I mean that in a very good way. You've already experienced these. You've moved around. You weren't just stuck to one thing. And again, I know you downplayed us, and I maybe played up, but the enlisting in the Air Force, it's just, to me, that's impressive. You're from Nigeria. You come to this country. You don't just take up space here. You're really giving back. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I've been so blessed, and I think it's all a blessing. Like, the life that I get to live, it's not. I could not have designed it for myself, so I'm grateful for all the opportunities that I've been given, and so it's my honor to be able to serve in any capacity, big or small. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, impressive stuff. So what's next then for you? So you've got this company. Is this you want to build this up where it's a big empty of multiple people working for you, or what's the plan?
That's a great question. I'll have a better answer when I have a better
Oh, okay.
answer.
All right. Good.
But for now, it's just a one-man team, and I'm taking things as they come.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
you
like
never
that because
know.
sometimes you want to say to people, you should have a plan. All that. But other times for me, like if it's something you're really passionate about, you just go for it. You don't know exactly where it's going to go. That's what's happened with me with True Good Life. I didn't know where it was going to go exactly.
Yeah, sometimes it's not. You don't always have to wait until you see the entire
Yeah.
plan unfold.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know the next plan when you take the first step, and that also applies to me. And I know it sounds like from this point, looking backward, it looks like, oh, Dr. Ngozi is like, she has the most impressive resume. I didn't know that it would end up like this, but I knew that I wanted to do something that I felt truly passionate about. So if this is what it looks like, I'm grateful for it. So I say this to say, you may not always it's okay to not have your life figured out, or even what you want to do figured out. It's fine, but just be dedicated in whatever it is that you're doing, and then the plan will continue to unfold.
Definitely keep moving forward, right? Yeah, and I think that's a lesson maybe for parents with young people coming out of school and they're kind of wandering around, going from job to job. Now, if they're lazy and just not working hard, that's one thing. But if they're working hard, but they just haven't figured out what they want to do yet, but they're really dedicated. Okay, this is what I try now. I'm going to work really hard at it. Then, yeah, do it now, right? I mean, so like if you get married and you have kids and you got bills to pay, and then it's harder to have that freedom to try new things, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine. But the thing is, I would say even people who are not very motivated, or like not as disciplined or whatever, or lazy, also need support that matches like where they are, like their state in life. So I think nobody should not give up on anyone. But I'd also say, like, even as you're moving forward and doing things, to also talk about your interests, like be open about sharing your interests to others, because then you never know who might be
Yeah.
in the best position to give you a good opportunity to explore your interests further. So be aware of your interest and be able to like chat about it at any time.
Yeah,
You never know.
that's an excellent point. I've really learned that too. Like growing up on the farm, my father was the old guy leaning over the back fence talking to everybody, and I was like, "Oh, Dad, let's go home." I'm sick of it. Now I find myself I talk to everybody, and sometimes people are like, "God, Tom, like, shut up," you're talking to me. But it's what it ends up. I've met, whether it's on a personal level or business level, so many great people that have stayed in my life just because if you're sitting on a plane for 2 hours in the seat, talk to the person next to you. I think if they don't want to talk, then you got to respect that. But if they're
Are you
clearly,
that guy, Tom?
oh, totally.
Are you the one we should avoid on the
Yeah,
plane?
yeah, definitely. Oh, but I think I'm pretty good. I hope I'm pretty good. Where if
I'm
somebody
sure you're a
if
pleasure to sit next to, of course. Who would
well,
not
but
want to sit next to Tom?
I'm aware though that if somebody clearly does not want to talk, then I think I'm pretty good at that. But I don't know. Maybe I should talk to some
Dial it
people.
down.
Yeah, but it is true though, right? Like talk to people. Like yeah, I guess you're right. It is a fine line there. You can be a pain in the rear end too if you.
I'm just joking. Yeah.
No, I know,
You
I know
just
you are,
never
but
know. Yeah.
yeah, I was on a train coming out of the city probably about a month ago, and this nice lady was sitting there, and she looked like she was, wanted to chat. So we chatted for a while. Ended up pretty good friends. They live locally. Her and her husband and I had coffee the other day. He's in the financial world, and it's a good connection from a business standpoint. So,
There
yes,
you go.
yeah, definitely. That's funny. I am the guy though, right? I am. That's funny. I think everybody goes,
That's
"Oh,
good.
here he comes. Here he comes. This guy. He's not
No.
going to shut up."
No.
So what's Danny saying here? Let me see the comment here. You can further educate talking to others. Yes, that's very true. Yeah, you learn lessons, right? Like I'm really all into fitness and health, obviously. And I was talking to somebody, I can't remember, they reminded me how important cinnamon was, like all the health benefits of cinnamon. It was just a little tip where I was like I really think I've learned a lot about foods and everything. And now, like I said, cinnamon's in the diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Are you a good cook? You cook?
Yes, I cook.
Oh, not, but what?
I do.
Okay.
I was laughing because I know you're like a big chef and everything, and you have a lot of like cooking videos on your
Yeah,
channel and everything. So no, I'm a cook, but I am a private type of
private.
cook.
Good.
So you might never really see the evidence of it if you were to look on my Instagram compared to you. And I've tried your cuisine too. I would say you're a good cook. I love your hummus.
Oh, that's right. I made you guys some homemade hummus. That's right. Yes. Very
Yes,
proud of my hummus. Yes. Very proud of it.
yes.
The big one
That's
is
great
the
with
homemade
seasonal chef.
sushi I'm making now. Really get that nailed down. So
Yeah, need to try that one next.
yeah. Again. All right. So again, this is Talk with Jenny. If you're unhappy or uncertain about your current career, or you're just wondering, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I moving forward in my career? Am I going to be where I want to be in 10 years? You get a hold with Jenny here. Again, Talk with Jenny on Instagram. You get a hold of her. And again, it isn't cookie cutter, it isn't just one answer. You sit down, you discuss what you want to do. So and plus you can watch your dance on Instagram too.
Find me on Instagram.
You're
What
pretty
was
good.
that? Thanks.
Yeah.
It's the Nigerian blood.
That's right too. How old were you? How many years ago did you come over here from Nigeria?
It'll be 14 years this summer.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
but always a Nigerian.
That's,
Always
now,
have the Nigerian blood.
that's right. Now, do you still have family back in Nigeria? You do, right? There's still family there?
Oh, very much so. I have lots of extended family. Those I know and those I do not even know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Okay.
for sure. My roots are
All
there.
right. So great to see you again. We're going to try to do this every week at this time. Your schedule bounces around a little bit, so I'll inform everybody if it's going to change. But again, Talk with Jenny. Instagram is the best place to find her. Very knowledgeable, not just about the X's and O's, but the psychological part of your career, what you should be doing. So great to see you again, Jenny.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Danny, for your great comments and questions. All right.
Very good. We'll see everybody next
See you
week.
soon. All right. See you.